Last week we saw the crude oil prices slipping to multi-year lows, and the Russian devaluation did not help the cause either. The implicit impact was seen on emerging markets, and specifically the equity markets, which saw some amount of fund flows happening back. In that sense itself, the valuations for equity markets on the emerging space are at their fair levels. But again, clearly from an FII perspective, barring India and Indonesia to a certain extent, where there is a stable government reforms expected, the other markets are looking in a sticky state. So Brazil, Russia, China have having the problems of their own. So our belief is probably that the kind of shock or panic selling that we saw, the markets have probably created an intermittent basis around 8,000 on the Nifty. However, I think the markets are expecting a slew of reforms to probably go through. The GST bill being tabled is seen as very positive steps. And again, I think the kind of inflationary pressures easing off is putting pressure onto the governor to probably have a cut in interest rates. Having said that, again, I think the corporate earnings are expected to be a little bit tepid as far as Q3 is concerned. And probably the sectors that we'll watch out for would be financials. Now, within financials, we've always been writing private sector banks. Over the past few weeks and months, we've turned extremely positive on public sector banks on two counts. So, I think the overall industry growth should be better over the next few quarters. The asset quality should get roughed out over the next 2 quarters, and valuations are simply too compelling. So I think PNB, Bank of Baroda, State Bank of India, Canara Bank, Bank of India look extremely attractive. From the other spaces, probably I think auto ancillaries is something that we are liking. Eicher Motors at attractive valuations, 21.5 times forward. Heromoto Corp in the same breath probably trades around 16.5 times. Looks equally attractive as well. And again, I think Maruthi and M&M from the four-wheeler space are looking attractive both in terms of volume growth and valuations on their side. Having said that, probably I think telecom space also is something that needs to be watched out for. Most of the concerns probably that is getting played out has already got played out into the stock price. The government, once it starts coming out with an auctioning price, and probably media reports on what we're hearing from the additional spectrum, should augur well from them. So Idea probably is looking very, very attractive at 6.5 times EV/EBITDA. So again, I think have a stock-specific approach, but with Christmas around the corner, our take is probably the markets will be subdued once expiry is done. So probably markets in the range, at least in the short to medium term, between 8,000 and 8,650. So Merry Christmas and have a great year ahead.